There's nothing we love more than an unlikely superhero pairing, and this one's for the books. With Marvel's Crypt of Shadows making a comeback, we were pleasantly surprised to see this duo together in the leaked preview for the comic. That's not all though. The monster hunting squad could include some interesting characters. Here are all the details we have so far. First off, what exactly is Crypt of Shadows? Marvel recently debuted Crypt of Shadows, a horror anthology series that takes full advantage of the Comics Code Authority's relaxed standards in 1972. In the mid-1950s, the CCA prohibited images of vampires, werewolves, and other genre classics. Characters from the Marvel Universe were notoriously absent from these stories. But now, more than a half-century later, some of these heroes are poised to enter the battle just in time for Halloween. Marvel has unveiled a new Crypt of Shadows one-shot starring several characters specializing in dark themes. Moon Knight, Laura Kinney, Wolverine, Elsa Bloodstone, Man-Thing, and Werewolf by Night feature in Crypt of Shadows #1, which will be released this autumn. The issue will also have the return of Blade's daughter, Bloodline, who debuted in Marvel's Free Comic Book Day, Avengers X-Men #1. Second, what's the new supernatural team in the comic? This week, a cover image of the Monster Hunters squad starring Wolverine, Moon Knight, Elsa Bloodstone, and Bloodline was leaked, revealing a horror-filled trip. The information was accidentally released to Marvel's official website, and boy are we glad that it was. It was pretty unexpected since we were still expecting an official announcement at Comic-Con. The leaked cover image is nothing short of impressive. It features Wolverine in front of Moon Knight and other supernatural team members. In the background, you can see the monsters that they'll be facing off against. Okay, so what does the leak tell us about what to expect? The leaked cover image and the synopsis reveal a lot about what we should expect from the comic. We now know that they'll be facing off against bloodthirsty vampires and whatnot. The synopsis mentioned that the heroes of this world spend most of their time in the sun, except for when they have to fight monsters in the dark. This is a pretty obvious way of saying that they'll be facing supernatural monsters. Plus, it mentioned All Hallows Eve, meaning they've also handed us the release date. So far, the creative team hasn't commented on this much, leaving most of it up to guesses. It might not even be released on Halloween, who knows? But we sure hope it does, because now we're too excited to see this duo on the same team. One thing's for sure though, Moon Knight and Wolverine will be leading this new supernatural team in the comic. Also, this isn't the first crossover featuring Moon Knight and Wolverine recently. Marvel Comics' August schedule includes fresh information on the Ms. Marvel team-up series of one-shots. The show was first announced in early April. The one-shots feature collaborations with Venom, Wolverine, and Moon Knight. In the first volume, Ms. Marvel and Wolverine, along with the rest of the X-Men, join forces to combat a threat in New York. Ms. Marvel somehow ends up in Moon Knight and Khonshu's domain and needs his assistance to deal with this realm of life and death. We'll then see Venom featured in the same comic series, with Moon Knight and Ms. Marvel teaming up to fight him. At least that's what the synopsis revealed so far. Finally, what other details do we have about the comic? Werewolf by Night features on the cover, and we've got some questions about this character. There are two versions of Werewolf by Night to look at. Jack Russell and his family's history of lycanthropy were originally presented in 1972's Marvel Spotlight #2, with Russell using his talents to battle a great evil. Let's go back nearly 50 years to Werewolf by Night, which introduced the Taboo, Scott Eaton, and Benjamin Jackendoff created Jake Gomez. Gomez is a descendant of the Hopi tribe, cursed with lycanthropy. There was also suspicion that Donnelly was a new character, or Nina Price, Russell's niece, who not only had the lycan gene, but was also bitten by a vampire, transforming her into Vampire by Night. Former Marvel editor Chris Cooper, well known for his trailblazing work on the Darkhold series, will also appear in the series. Al Ewing, Danny Lohr, Rebecca Roanhorse, Adam Warren, Chris Condon, Karen S. Darboe, Jeff Shaw, Ibrahim Mustafa, and others will join him. Each creator will be given their own story and will be able to apply their particular abilities to the pages of the book. The anthology series might also be a sign the live-action one-shot of Werewolf by Night will be available on Disney Plus this Halloween. Marvel's yet to announce the film, but according to reports, Michael Giacchino's directing it with Jake Gomez in the lead. The creators of the comic shared that they're having a blast working on the series, and we sure hope they are, because we expect the final product to be super cool. We'll have a lot to look forward to this Halloween, apparently. Marvel Comics and Dark Horse Comics both have supernatural themed one-shots planned for October. In Leonide the Vampire, Miracle at the Crow's Head, published by Dark Horse on October 5th, 5th, Mike Mignola, illustrator Rochelle Aragno, and colorist Dave Stewart introduce a new character and a whole new scary universe. The story, which takes place outside the timeline of Mignola's Hellboy and other series, is set in a beach community whose peaceful life is upended when a shipwreck lands a young vampire girl in their midst. Mignola and Aragno's partnership is the first of many planned. The primary cover will be by Aragno and Stewart, with a variation by Mignola and Stewart. Here's some other related news you might have missed out on. First off, Wolverine finally got his own comic cover Funko Pop. We've seen a number of comic cover Funko Pops in recent months, but Wolverine's debut in the collection wasn't one of them. That long-awaited pop finally arrived today, on the day of their San Diego Comic-Con 2022 special pop figure event. We think it's a good warm-up. The Funko Pop is based on Cale Nagu's nicest-looking variant cover of Wolverine Volume 7, Number 1, which was released in 2020. Also, the pop figure comes with a sturdy protective case with pre-drilled holes for wall mounting. The fate of Wolverine in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is currently unknown. As a popular fan pick, Blackbird star Taron Egerton looks to be in the running for the part. He has already hinted at meeting with Marvel Studios. In a recent interview with the New York Times, the actor was vague about the fan casting. Second, here's what you should expect from Marvel at Comic-Con 2022. After 2 years without an in-person Comic-Con, we were hoping for a few heroes to make an appearance. Fortunately, the ongoing pandemic and doubt over whether the con would genuinely police those mask requirements won't prevent the newest Caped Crusaders from attending the annual Nerdfest, which begins in San Diego, and you bet we'll be attending it ourselves. With the early looks of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever and the forthcoming She-Hulk: Attorney at Law on Disney+, Marvel shouldn't disappoint. However, unlike in 2019, it's not expected to load Hall H with an impressive haul. Some sources believe Marvel's keeping everything good for Disney's fan conference D23 during the second weekend of September, especially in terms of new projects. Earlier in the day, Dwayne Johnson and the Warner Brothers theatrical session will serve as Marvel's opening act, with Black Adam and Shazam: Fury of the Gods getting their well-deserved close-ups on the Hall H stage. There are also rumors that Henry Cavill may make an unexpected visit to promote more Superman. Finally, Ethan Hawke won't be returning to the MCU. Hawke played a pretty impressive villain in Moon Knight, what with trying to raise an Egyptian goddess from the dead and all that. So, when he mentioned giving an interview, we were all excited and hoping to hear something about a potential sequel to the show. Unfortunately, Hawke didn't have the best news to share. He claimed that he wasn't interested in any long-term commitments with Marvel because the whole filming experience and the finale had been more anticlimactic than he'd anticipated, which is surprising because if we were still working with Marvel, we'd constantly be in awe. Still, Hawke shared that he'd had to sign an NDA, so he really couldn't talk about the experience itself, but it wasn't as great as he'd imagined before he decided to work with them, and he won't be continuing in the future. Well, we sure hope that doesn't rule out the possibility of Oscar Isaac returning to the big screen. The Oscar nominee also discussed Marvel Studios' approach to film and television productions, which he described as more targeted towards performers than directors. Hawke then guessed that this might explain why renowned filmmakers such as Martin Scorsese are dismissive of the MCU. He went on to claim that Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in 2008's Iron Man persuaded Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige of the value of actors, and that Oscar Isaac's performance in Moon Knight was the series' greatest. That's a wrap for this video. Would you like to see Moon Knight on the same team as Bloodline and Wolverine? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.